Hi, welcome back. Two things to address really quickly. The hair is chopped. I've been warning y'all for months that the hair was gonna go. I just could not deal with the long hair anymore. I am way too lazy. I don't want to deal with my hair, period. If I could just wake up and not do anything to my hair, that would be phenomenal. So if you are a lazy hair person, this is the cut for you. I've had this cut several times in the past. Stays blunt on the ends. It stays looking semi-chic. You know, you don't have to do much to it. So the hair's gone. Secondly is I did take a week off and I did not have backup videos, mainly because since we've been in quarantine, I have not been filming ahead as much. I've just been kind of like going with the flow. But I did take a week off to regroup and to just, just a little break. I'm back now though, and today I wanted to do a very quick education styled or focused video. It seems like you all really enjoyed these videos, and I did a video probably about 6 to 9 months ago called Why Your Foundation Does Not Look Good. I will link it down below because I think it will be a good reference for this video as well. But this video kind of falls along similar lines. So I wanted to talk about 3 reasons why you may be unhappy with how your makeup looks. These are very simple things, just things that maybe you didn't necessarily think about before, but I think that they can be deal breakers in the appearance of your makeup. So that's what we're going to chat about today. Just 3 quick things. I'm going to show you some examples. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, I think, is the biggest culprit, and it took me a long time to understand this concept because in the makeup and beauty world, we are told if we have a specific skin type, we should use specific products. So if you have dry skin, you should be using dewy and glowy products. If you have oily skin, you should avoid those products and use matte products only. So I have 2 examples I want to show you. I'm going to show you a look that is really matte and then a look that is really dewy. So let's start out with a matte one. I understand if you have oily skin, you really do prefer those mattifying products. They are essential. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing more of a matte face. The problem comes when everything is matte on your face. It can be just very flat and one-dimensional. So let's just say you prefer your base to be matte, your foundation, your concealer, and your powder. Try to offset those by using maybe something like a cream blush on the cheeks, a liquid illuminator on the cheeks, somewhere at the center of the face that's really going to lift and add a little bit more realism to your skin. So while I was actually filming these little clips and doing more of the matte look, I went into the kitchen to get some water, and Will looked at my face and he was like, "What is different about your makeup today?" It was just because everything was so just flat and smooth on my skin, it didn't look real. So if you are an oily skin person and you like your matte products, stick with those matte products, but try to experiment with, again, something that's just going to be really lightweight, ethereal, is going to add a nice bit of realism to your skin. Something like, I think I use this maybe in my example, the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm one. This is kind of like a cream blush illuminator duo. Just by popping a little bit of this onto the cheeks, it can really add more depth, more dimension to your face. So same thing goes with dewy products. This took me forever to learn because I generally do have dry skin and I'm always for a good dewy look, but at some point we were just being told like dewy, dewy, dewy. Everything needs to be dewy. And that can look great and really pretty for like editorial photo shoots, but you go outside and you are just glossed up. It's not necessarily the most flattering look. So for an example that I used for my kind of overly dewy look was just using a mattifying powder in my T-zone. I used the RMS Beauty Unfiltered powder. This is the one that I've really been enjoying for the past several months, but it's a matte powder. And so it's okay to use to mix and match matte and dewy products into your routine. You don't have to stick with just matte and just dewy. I also used a powder bronzer today just to kind of tone down the sides of my face, since I do have such an illuminated cheek. I just use a bit of powder bronzer to tone things down, just smooth things out and add balance. So just understand that it is essential to add different textures, different finishes to your skin to get that really hyper realistic look. I think you will definitely notice a difference just by making those small changes. Okay, second thing, this is also kind of going to fall along the lines of balancing your skin out. This is a method I talk about frequently on my channel. If you're familiar to my channel, then you know I talk about this so incredibly much, and I like to call it the sheer to full method. Basically, that means having a more sheer to light coverage foundation and then using a fuller coverage concealer on top if needed. So the reason I recommend this method so much is because I'll get comments saying like, how does your makeup just look so natural but also, covered? And the reason for that is because I use a very lightweight base. Today I'm using a tinted moisturizer. I'm using the Hourglass Illusion Hyaluronic Skin Tint is what I'm wearing today. It's very light coverage, but I recommend using or owning a fuller coverage concealer so you can go into your more problematic areas and add the coverage there, as opposed to buying a full coverage foundation that's gonna mask everything and then using a full coverage concealer on top of it. It really, again, it kind of flattens out the face. There's no dimension going on. So I always recommend just using something that's really nice and breathable for your base and then going in with a fuller coverage concealer. This is actually a sample concealer that I just wanted to try today. I've had it in my collection and it's the Dior Forever Skin Concealer. It looks very nice. It's supposed to be full coverage, and I would definitely say it had a lot of coverage to it. But the reason I think that this can help a lot of you out there who aren't liking the way your makeup looks is because I do, again, feel like a lot of people feel like, okay, if I'm going to use a full coverage foundation, I need to have a full coverage concealer. Or it can be, reversed. If you don't like wearing a ton of makeup, you just have super sheer products, like you have a very sheer skin base and then a very sheer concealer. Well, again, what happens when you have maybe a breakout or maybe you're going to an event and you want a little bit more coverage? It's just very simple and practical. You can go from the sheerest amount of coverage to the fullest amount of coverage if needed. This is how I've been doing makeup on people for years. MAC Face and Body is the ultimate example that I use for a base product, but you can kind of experiment with different bases, obviously different concealer products to see what your perfect combo is. But I promise you, I just firmly stand by this method. I love it so much. Third and final thing I want to talk about is just something that I feel like has been ruining makeup looks for a very long time now, but I still feel like people do this because, again, it's still very popular in the beauty world, and we saw this become a trend, I feel like, in the 2010, 2011 time frame, and that's using concealer that is too light for your skin tone, and more specifically in that under eye area. Of course, this used to be the biggest trend. We're all guilty of doing this because it brightens and lifts the face. I do agree with that, okay, if done in the right way, but I feel like it's still being done in the sense that a lot of people are being told, you need to buy a concealer that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone. If you are concerned about brightening that under eye area, half a shade is perfectly fine. It's still going to add brightness to your under eye. So just understanding you do not have to go in with a super bright or super light concealer to highlight that under eye area. When you go in with bronzer after the fact, let's just say you use a concealer like I've done today, that's my actual skin tone. Once you use your kind of dimensional cheek products, that allows your concealer to pop even further. And so when you're using something that's ultra bright, bright. Once you've added those contrasting products on top of that, it makes it even brighter. So I think using your actual skin tone to half a shade lighter, just it makes a world of difference. Okay, that was it. Those were the three things I wanted to talk about. Like I said, very simple. Hope it was pretty quick. I just wanted to just kind of break down some things, like some common sense things that we may not necessarily think about, because if you are especially into the beauty world, the beauty community on YouTube, you're probably constantly being told different things, and I just feel like the certain narrative for a very long time has been these things, to follow these things or do these things. So yeah, I just wanted to address those and talk about, hey, like, these particular trends, methods may not be working for you for this particular reason. So I hope you enjoyed. I will have the video link down below that I talked about previously, why your foundation doesn't look good. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.